All right, what's up, guys? I led in with that intro of our camping trip in Canaan Valley, which is a ski resort here in West Virginia. It's a valley that's a natural bowl on top of a mountain, so it just gets continuous snow all winter. We decided to go for a weekend camping there. It ended up dumping 1.5 feet of snow, so we stayed an extra day. We had a great time. Kids went skiing, ice skating, snow tubing. There's a huge sled hill called the Blackwater sled hill. You can see that right here. So we had a blast, and everyone got to do everything. It's a great family experience. The bad part is, my wife had noticed there was a little bit of moisture in this wardrobe, which I'm lighting up with a flashlight so you can see. As you can see, there is no water damage there, but that was a little damp, and then the water had come down. I think what helped a lot, we had she had like a bathrobe down on the bottom that was damp, and it looked like it had actually soaked up a lot of the water that had dribbled down, because it had run in right there where you can see the wallpaper just a little bit delaminated. So when she told me that, I checked up here. We found a very small puddle of clear water right down here where the flashlight is. And then this, because we were below freezing where we were camping, this had frost on it, right here, that seam. And you can kind of tell how that looks different than this. This is real smooth, and this has just a little bit rougher texture where it had a little moisture in it. And this, if you look outside the camper, this is right below where the top sheet of the roof meets the front cap. So I had ordered some Dicor sealant after my roof inspection. If you saw my video, which I will put a card up for, earlier this year, a couple months ago, I did my annual roof inspection before putting it away for the winter, and we did find a couple little cracks, but I didn't think it would be an issue. So we'll see what's going on. I'm gonna fly the drone up and we'll take a look. All right, so the good news is it doesn't look like we have any holes in our rubber membrane or damage from contact with any objects. Sometimes when you're driving, there's low-hanging trees and you don't even see them, or basketball hoops on back roads that people put right on the road. Sometimes you don't even see that stuff, and you may not even know that you've hit it in the truck. That's actually happened before, that we brushed against trees and not seen them. Those corners do take a lot of damage being on the front of the camper and then pushing limbs aside. And it looks like there's already an existing reseal effort that was made, probably either at the dealer or maybe even back to the original manufacturer, but probably it was done by the dealer after they received it, if they noticed there was any gap in that caulk. My guess is that is where it's leaking. It looks like they just stuffed a booger load of caulk right there on the edge. So we're gonna have to get back up on the roof and take a look at it and see if we can seal that up any better. I'm probably gonna try and remove the existing caulk because it looks like it's a large mass that's gonna be difficult to seal over correctly. The first thing I need to do now is make a trip to the store and get some denatured alcohol that is recommended by Dicor, that things to be wiped down with denatured alcohol prior to attempting to reseal. So I'm gonna go run and get that before I hop up on the roof, and we'll see what we can do to effect a repair. All right, guys, I just got back from Home Depot. I picked up some denatured alcohol. That is what is recommended to clean any existing caulk on the roof that you're trying to seal. Also, I have a couple of caulk guns here. I'm sure everybody does at home. I saw these at Home Depot, 17 bucks. I picked this up. This is it's a heavy duty caulk gun. It's really heavy steel, so hopefully it'll be a little easier. These other ones I have, they're real thin. This one's plastic. They tend to deflect a lot. They bow out when you're trying to caulk heavy stuff. And this stuff, I have a feeling, is going to be a little hard to squeeze. So I have two different kinds of sealant here. They're both Dicor. This is the 502L, which is self-leveling. So you want to use this anytime you're on a flat surface. And this is primarily what the OEMs use. When you put this, if you caulked it all in a puddle right here, it would spread out and level. So you want to use that anywhere they say to use anywhere where it's flat. The idea is that it forms sort of an extension of the roof around any protrusions. The other kind I got is the 551L, which is non-leveling, non-sag. So the idea behind this is that it basically stays where you put it, like regular caulk would. So I picked up 4 of each. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. I actually got these 2 months ago when I checked out my roof and I saw that some of the sealant was going to need done. So from everything I've read, they recommend peeling off any existing sealant that is loose and that's easy to peel, but anything that's firmly attached, they say just to leave it up there, but to clean it all with the denatured alcohol. Hello, Charlie. What are you doing? Charlie's excited. He thinks we're going somewhere. Unfortunately, we're just working on the roof. So I've got my bucket truck out. I'm going to take it up. We're going to give a more thorough inspection of the roof, clean what we need to clean, scrape anything, let that dry. The sealant's all going to be, I've been keeping it inside. It says to keep it above 60 degrees for optimum application. So we're going to stick that back in the house in the warm environment while we take the bucket truck up and check out the roof. So I've got the drone out here. I'm going to fly it up and maybe make a little video of me taking the bucket truck up, and we'll see what we find when we get up there. Alright guys, hopefully this cam picks it up. I'm using the head cam so I have my hands free. Alright guys, I'm up here on the bucket truck. I got the helmet cam on. I haven't used this a ton, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. This is the rubber roof membrane. This is the fiberglass front cap of the camper. As you can see, they have used a self-leveling sealant over this. So the consequence of that, I think they just used self-sealing on everything when they built this. But the clear consequence of that is that this is really ugly as it goes out. You can see it almost looks like a wave because the self-leveling is just going to come down. Now if they have used an anti-sag, or even if you run a bead of anti-sag across and use self-leveling behind, it wouldn't have done that. And the other consequence of that is that it has left the coverage over the top of this. This is just a piece of this same trim basically, and it Charlie, hush. This is just a piece of this this aluminum trim that has screws in it. You can even see where the screw heads are. So the consequence of using this self-leveling, as you can see right here, is that it's super thin up here and it's already peeling off. Now, as I said, you can see they use the self-leveling. And then there is some big gob here that I think probably the dealer did. You can see how there's a different type of compound used on top of it. This is actually much harder. It's like almost like a glue. And this is all cracked. And I'm not sure, I don't want to turn this into a big job, but I want to get off whatever is loose here, because this is not, and we're not going to be able to seal over this with all this crap hanging off here. But I would say that this probably was like this for a bit. I probably didn't see that when I was up on the roof because I wasn't looking down this gap, but you can see we're all the way down here underneath this trim. So my guess is the rain was hitting right here and running off where the compound is, but the snow is sitting up here and melting, and that's what's dripping down in. That's my guess. So at the very minimum, we're gonna have to fix this today. And I brought this screwdriver up here with me and the alcohol that I just bought. We're forecasted to get some snow tomorrow, some snow and some freezing rain, so I would like to kind of get this situated before then so you don't get any more water in here. I had posted this in one of the camping groups I'm on. A lot of people had recommended just smacking Eternabond tape over it. until winter. That turn-on tape is really, really sticky. Once you put it on something, it almost does not come up. And I didn't want to stick it here because you can see this from the front of the camper. So to smack Eternabond over it, we'd have that big, ugly white tape right here. Although I guess if you prep the whole thing, if they had left this edge cleaner, you could take maybe 6-inch Eternabond tape and run it across the whole thing. And I may end up doing that eventually. I don't know. But this is so ugly that I don't know how I'll incorporate that with the Eternabond tape. So we have a little hole there. I can caulk over that. And I don't know what this glue stuff is. I'm not sure if that was a repair after the fact or what. But as you can see, this screwdriver is readily going right underneath that trim, which means if the screwdriver can go in, water certainly can, and it is because of the video you saw in the opening cut. So let's get our denatured alcohol out. And I got a couple rags up here, which I'm hoping won't blow away. We will set the screwdriver on them. Here we go. All right. So they say not to get much of this on the roof, but what you want to do is just clean all this with it. They say it improves the adhesion of the Dicor. And really, you know, as I revealed in the roof inspection at the end of last year, aside from some of these little caulking bits, the roof overall is in pretty good shape, I think. Of course, I thought that last time. Now it's leaking here, but all right, we're getting this cleaned up about as good as we can. I don't see any other major gaps. A couple little pimple holes over there. I'm not sure I'm going to get into that. I think this is probably going to be a bigger job in spring, maybe to just come back and scrape more of this away and completely redo it. I'm looking at some products. There's one called Crazy Seal. I think everyone's aware of the Roof Armor product. I got a quote from Roof Armor, about $6,000 to do this camper. This 37-foot camper. And that just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's probably a fifth of the value of this camper, just to put all that into the roof. I just can't see doing that at this point, but I want to do something while the roof is still in good shape to try and preserve it. I've heard a lot of people use the Henry's water seal. Henry's cool. It's called like cool temp paint or something like that. Cool Master. It's basically a paint for rubber roofs. And I was actually reading the spec sheet on it, and Henry's recommends it for camper use. But I guess there's been really mixed reviews of it from people that have used it on campers. So I'm not sure. Not sure if that's what I want to get into or not. All right. So while I'm down here, there's some snow. Sorry for the noise. There's some snow in the bottom of that. We're just going to dampen this other rag and just clean this off with some little melted snow there. I don't want to go crazy. I just want to make sure all that alcohol's off of there. So because this is where we're leaking, this is where I'm patching, and I'm not saying this is going to be a perfect job. This is my first time using this product, but we'll see how it does. So I'm going to go ahead and prep a tube of the non-leveling, non-sag, because I think that's going to be best, because that repair is kind of on the side of that, sort of where the roof rolls off. And I think the self-leveling is going to drip down kind of like it did when it was initially applied, and I think that's part of the problem in that spot. So the first thing we need to do is load our cartridge in and cut our tip. So they say a 1/4 inch works best for this particular sealant. This sealant again has been kept inside the house. It is warmed up to about 65 degrees. It's the temperature in the house. All right, this tube is prepped. We're gonna get back in the bucket truck. I'm gonna go up and hopefully we'll stop this leak before the snow comes tonight. All right, I'm getting back on the bucket truck. I have my tube of caulk prepped, and we will see how this goes. I want to make sure I grab another rag just to have one, since I think things may get messy. All right, got my rag, got my caulk, and we are good to go. Alright, I'm shutting that motor off so you can hear me better. You can see that we've actually got a failure here on the side. I didn't even notice that before. I just noticed that on my way up. So primarily, these failures are on the side of this. And I think if I put self-leveling compound in there, it is just going to run. See how this is all dripped down into the channel? And if anything, like, that's actually hurting you because your water's supposed to run down and out here. And instead we've got all this caulk drip down in there. So, alright, let's see. I think these areas are going to be easier, so I'm going to start over here since I've never know how this stuff's going to come out. Of course, with a 1/4 inch tip, it comes out in a hurry. I think I'm going to end up having to use my finger to smooth this out. So I didn't realize this stuff is white, and the caulk that I have on here is gray. And I don't know if that's just because it's aged, or if that's the color that this repair is going to end up being. Be nice if it all matched, but we'll see. So I'm trying to force this caulk back into that space. This is where the self-leveling would be nice because you could just kind of pump it over everything. I'm gonna have to smooth that all out with my hand, and I'm gonna try and cover up that gap right there as well. So, all right, that should be more than enough here to try and smooth out. And I wore gloves because I always end up getting my hands on the project whenever I'm working with caulk. I am not a neat applicator. So that should take care of the leak, and I am sure, based on how sloppy this is, I am going to get some comments of people telling me better ways to do it. I hope so, because I'm terrible at this. Alright, I think I'm actually going to get out on the roof just a little, if I can. I want to take a look and make sure while I have this tube open. I want to take a look while I have this tube open and make sure there's no other spots that really need attention desperately. Because I can see at least a couple other little holes developing along this line. And I'm not sure if it's because of the type of self-leveling sealant that was used or what, but I want to go ahead and smooth. The worst ones really seem to be inside this channel, and I have enough sealant in this tube to go ahead and just fill that channel, so I don't see any reason to leave all these screw heads poking through. Got some more gaps there. I'll go check out that end in a second. So you can see we've got some big gaps in this channel, which I think, based on the way this is done, like, I just don't understand if they didn't expect it or what. But I think we'll just go ahead and fill that channel, and at least it'll be uniform. It's okay, Charlie. He doesn't recognize me if he's not in my company continuously. He just starts barking at me if he hasn't seen me for a while. I have never been around a dog like that, but here's one looking at you. So if you walk out of the yard at night, if I walk out of the yard at night and then I walk back in, he just loses his mind until he realizes that it's me. So he's a little silly. Charlie, it's okay. Good dog, it's okay. Don't want to discourage the guard dog aspect of him, but it does get a little bit excessive at times. All right. Our cake batter repair here is just about done, and I'm kind of hoping that that'll level out, look a little better. I would make it better, I just don't know how. I have many skills and a lot of knowledge about building things, but caulk has always seemed like drywall and a few other trades. It's like almost more of an art. It's almost more of an art than a skill. People seem just to either get a feel for it or they don't, and I haven't done a ton of it. So alright, I'm up, I'm just walking around. There's just a little bit left in this gun. I know there's a couple other spots in here that are going to need attention. They haven't been cleaned, but if this helps us make it through the winter with no more leaks, then that's fine. I'll clean it up in the spring and put another tube on it. So that's my vents. I do not like these vents. I like to replace them with better vents anyway. So here's another spot where I think they use a self-leveling, and I don't think they should have, because you can see where it just doesn't seem like it's sealed very well. And the bathroom is one of those areas that's sometimes very difficult to see leaks in there because it's wet, tends to be humid if you're using the shower, and there's sources of water. So it's very difficult to find leaks sometimes. So if you have a leak like here around the skylight that's leaking into the tub, it's a great place for a leak because it goes straight into the tub, but at the same time it can leak for a long time and can leak down into your roof materials, your decking, and can do a lot of damage before it is discovered. Just gonna work some of that down in there. Alright. So we will, like I said before, I know I could probably do this better, and the next time I do it, hopefully, it'll be better. Hopefully I'll post this, and I will learn some new ways of doing this that are not as messy. But I guess this shows you why people do use that self-sealing stuff, because if nothing else, it's going to be neater as it self-levels. So, all right. Well, that is going to keep the water. That's going to keep the water from getting down inside that skylight. I'm going to smoosh it down some so that it doesn't create a dam. I want the water to have a way out. And I don't think this looks any worse than what was there. So, all right, that's good. I'm kind of glad I did this. I wasn't going to get up here, but Pat shows a couple other trouble spots. I don't see much else. I checked the back looks good. So let's come up here and check on our sealant project on the front. A little mess on the roof there, but this I think that looks pretty good. I don't think it looks any worse than what was there. Please don't thumbs down this video without telling me what I did wrong, because this is not a how-to video. This is a how I did it based on what I have read, and I'm sure there's better ways. I'm not good at caulking, so I hope to hear advice from everybody, or link me to a video that you think did it better. I did watch several before I attempted this job, but it's cold out. This is the first even sort of warm day we've had in a few weeks, and I did not want to let any water leak into the camper anymore. I just felt like I had to do something, even if it wasn't perfect. I have lots more sealant. I have 7 more tubes of it, so I can do a better job this spring when it's warmer out, when the sealant is more within its optimum temperatures to cure. We'll see how that holds up. I will add a little video here at the end, and we'll see. Hopefully it cures okay. All right, so I'm gonna wait a few hours and then we'll go back up and we'll see how that sealant looks. Or I may just take the drone up because that's easier. But hopefully that will cure, and I'm gonna be working on some other projects today because we have snow coming.